Thank you for joining us this evening, and this will be part two of our new teaching that we're doing on what is a transliteration. And the reason for this teaching is that I think that it would help you and help everyone that's trying to make sure that they are pronouncing the Creator's name accurately, because there's so many different variations that are out there, and it confuses a lot of people, so they don't feel comfortable because they don't have the proper information to have it settled in their own heart of how to pronounce the Creator's name. As I mentioned before, you'll see Jehovah, Yahweh, you'll see Yahuah, and there's a lot of different other ones as well, but there's only one way to pronounce the Creator's name: to transliterate His name from the Hebrew language into using English letters so we can make the same sounds as the Hebrew letters. That's really what a transliteration is all about. I'm going to read my definition that I gave you last time on our session, but I'm going to put this on this recording as well for those who haven't listened to the first teaching that we did on this. But this is what a definition of a transliteration would mean. It is pronouncing a name or word the same as it is spoken in the original language. And of course, if we're talking about Hebrew here, we're talking about the original language that the Father's name was written in, and this would be the Paleo Hebrew. These are the Hebrew letters. Now, what we want to try to find out is what English letters to use so we can make the same sounds that these Hebrew letters would make. Let me finish my definition. It is pronouncing a name or word the same as it is spoken in the original language, using the letters of the second language to make the same sounds as the original language. That's the definition of a transliteration. Of course, a translation, the word of what translation means would be to, if that name or word has a meaning to it, then you would give the meaning of that name or word from the first language into the second language, so you would understand, what that name meant or the word meant. Now, in our last session, we discussed that the correct way to pronounce the Creator's name, and I showed you the modern Hebrew script and the ancient Paleo Hebrew, and again reminding you that Hebrew reads from right to left. We talked about the first two letters of the Creator's name would be pronounced as Yah and not in Ye, as sometimes you might see if you were to look up in a concordance, like a Strong's Concordance, and if you were to look up the word Lord, because we know that Lord has been used as a substitution for the Creator's name in our English translations, and it would refer you to the Hebrew number 3068, which would give you the Creator's name. But if you look it up in like a Strong's Concordance, and the one thing about Strong's Concordance, is good in a lot of sense, because there you can find every word with a Hebrew letter attached to it, or a Greek letter if it's in the New Testament, and it will give you how that name or word is pronounced, and it also give you the definition. But the problem with it is that it's based upon the modern, or let me say the Masoretic text, which is that use vowel points to change the way that words or names were pronounced. That's why you might see that name, the Creator's name, pronounced as Yehovah. Now, there is no way the Creator's name is pronounced Yehovah. Only it is by modern usage of vowel points, which changes the way that His name, the Creator's name, was pronounced. Now, you might say, well, what's the big deal about pronouncing His name correctly? Well, how would you like your name, if your name was Bill, how would you like to be called Larry, or some other name that really has no sound near to the way that your name should be pronounced? It's important because we want to give honor to the most set-apart name of the Creator of the universe. His name is declared to be holy, or that word actually means set apart, unique. It's an awesome name. It's a name that's to be revered. It's a name that we're to love. It's a name that we're to honor. That's a name that we're to praise. That's the name we're to call upon. So it is important to know, so you have confidence. And when you do have confidence, then you're going to use His name more often. you're not going to be hesitant about using his name because you're not really sure if you are pronouncing it correctly or accurately. So going back to the first two letters, we know that the first two letters are pronounced as Yah. We talked about that the Father's name, the Hebrew reads from right to left. The first two letters are pronounced as Yah. In the English letters, we would use the YAH, which will give us what these two letters would sound like. Now we know that for sure because we know that the ancient Hebrew word phrase Hallelujah or Hallelujah in modern terms, the letters of the Creator's name, the last two letters in the phrase Hallelujah is the Yod and the Hey. This is a modern Hebrew script here that gives you the pronunciation with the English letters of Yah. So when you're saying Hallelujah, you are saying praise unto Yah or Yahuah. Yahuah being his whole name pronounced out with the four letters instead of the two. So I wanted to show you that so you make sure that you understand that the Creator's name could not be Yehovah. It's Yahuah. Now, where the third letter comes into a lot of controversy about this third letter here, simply because most people don't understand that, because they're using modern Hebrew, this letter that looks like a hook or a nail is referred to in modern Hebrew as the letter Wah or Vav. That's where you get the W sound or the V sound. In ancient Hebrew, there was no W sound, nor was there a V sound. Those are only modern invention by man in modern times, changing the way that words or letters are pronounced. Keep that in mind. With that said, we have the first three letters giving us the pronunciation of Yahu. This letter here makes the U sound. It's actually, and when we refer to it as a W is referring to the two U's that make the U sound. Two U's put together gives you the U sound. That's where in modern Hebrew, or I mean modern, even in English, the English letter W is a modern letter. I mean, it came into existence, I think, about the 13th century. So this could not have been the Yahweh, or with the W sound. That W sound could not have been used in pronouncing the Creator's name. Now, another reason that we know that these letters, see, there had to be a standard way of pronouncing these letters without vowel points. And there was, and there is. By the way, these are all letters here in the Creator's name have vowel sounds. And that's why we know that, and as I mentioned in our last session, that Josephus Flavius declared that as well in his writings, that the Creator's name was pronounced with all vowel letters or vowel sounds. And we know that as you sound his name out. Now we know, again, going back to the third letter here being the sixth letter of the Hebrew alphabet, which is referred to in modern time as a Wah or a Vav. And that's why the pronunciation of Yahweh is totally inaccurate, totally not correct, and because there could not be that W sound. This letter in ancient Hebrew without vowel points made the U sound. And to support this, there's a lot of different words that were originally, well, let me give you this is like the pronunciation of the word Yahudah. Now that's the way that you would pronounce it. Now in our English we say Judah, which is totally inaccurate because there's no J sound in ancient Hebrew. But the word Judah in our English word would have been pronounced Yahudah. Now, most people won't argue with that fact that it's Yahudah and it's not Yahwada. See with the W, it's not Yahwada. In other words, the third letter would not make which is referred to as a U sound, not a W, not a Wa. It would not be pronounced Yahwada. It would have to be pronounced Yahudah. Yahudah. The only difference between Yahudah, which is the tribe of Judah that we use in English terms, and the only difference between Yahudah and Yahuwah's name is the letter D in our English word, but it's the letter Dalet or Dal in the ancient Hebrew. And if you remove the D out of Yahudah, you have the pronunciation of Yahuah. So another word that see, like I said, this third letter had to have a standard way of being pronounced. Give you another example. The word ruach in ancient Paleo Hebrew is spelled resh, u. See, that's the second letter. Ruach. See, the second letter cannot be spelled with a W sound nor a V sound. So just to show you that this letter in ancient Hebrew had a standard pronunciation of u. Doesn't make a W sound nor a V sound. Another word would be, which in modern Hebrew, the word shalom. But in ancient Hebrew, that word was pronounced shalom. That letter that makes up the word in the word which in modern Hebrew is referred to as a O, but it's only because of vowel points do we have the O sound. It's pronounced, really, to be more accurately, would be shalom. In ancient Hebrew, and this you might want to make a note of this, in ancient Hebrew the letters W, E, J, I, O, and V sound doesn't exist in ancient Hebrew hieroglyphics. It does not exist. Those sounds can only be made with modern Hebrew with vowel points. You don't even make the J sound now. It's still not even in modern Hebrew. But again, going back to certain letters, the only way you could get a W sound or a V sound is to add the vowel points around the letter itself to give that sound. So far we've got a transliterating the Creator's name. These first three letters here, going from right to left, is going to give you Yahuah. Yahuah. Another verification of this, even the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, what's his last three letters? Yahuah. And I've seen him, and I've actually seen his name written on billboards in Israel without vowel points. So you didn't need the vowel points to get the Yahuah pronunciation. They're spelled with the modern Hebrew, the three letters. Yahuah would give you the sound. These three letters here, the Yod, Yod, and the Hey, and the Uah would give you Yahuah. And even Benjamin Netanyahu's name is pronounced the same with the three of the four letters of the Creator's name. So we're trying to just make it more clear and more understanding. We'll talk about on our next session the last letter of the Creator's name and how we know how it's pronounced by a standard way that these letters had to be pronounced. Making vowel sounds, Yahuah is the way that our Creator's name is pronounced. I hope this has helped you. Thank you for letting me know that, and I appreciate your support. Thank you for just encouraging me with your kind words and comments. I appreciate that. And Yahuah blessing be upon you, and thank you for our session together. I want to say Baruch haba Hashem Yahuah, which in Hebrew means blessed is he who comes in the name of Yahuah. Now our Mashiach, our Messiah, said, you won't see me. He used that phrase, you won't see me until you say those words in Hebrew, which would be Baruch haba Hashem Yahuah. Blessed is he who comes in the name of Yahuah. And so I want you to declare that yourself, because that will bring on his return. He said, you won't see me until you say those words. So continue to say Baruch haba Hashem Yahuah, and hopefully we'll speed up his return. Thank you for your time, and we'll join again on part 3 on this, and look forward to our session together with you then. Shalom.